everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Extraordinarily Ordinary. Our special guest today is Dr. Sangeeta Kaur. Dr. Sangeeta Kaur is an ardent mental health advocate and ambassador who is also a licensed counselor under the Ministry of Women and Family. She is also the founder of Emerging Journey Asia, an organization that focuses on mental, emotional well-being, assessment tools, human behavior, with over 20 years of experience. Sangeeta is also the founder of Yayasan Health on World, a foundation that focuses on mental, emotional, and physical well-being. She is also a speaker and advocate in personal security in cyberspace and has presented research papers about human capacity at global conferences. Welcome, Dr. Sangeeta, to my show. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me.
Always my pleasure to help to advocate and support those who need. So thanks for having me.
You are the co-founder of Yayasan Health on World, or known as YHOW. Can you tell us what YHOW is all about?
Okay, can. So Yayasan Health on World, we registered, we got it approved last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this year, 20th May, is the first anniversary.
Oh, happy birthday, YHOW!
Yes. I've always been, in the helping career, whether talking to people or in counseling, doing my sessions and advocating. But I feel that, I'm the only one, and it's time to leverage and to go out there to let people know more. So that is why I've approached Dato' Alia, and she said, it's a good, noble idea, and that's where she is also my co-founder, and we have our ESCO and trustees all lined up in advocating mental, emotional, and physical health. So it's three, because you can't see yourself as, just mental or just emotional or just physical. We are a wholesome individual, so we need to look at all these three, right? That is why we talk about mental, emotional, and physical. So we don't really want to touch on spiritual or religion because, everyone have their own ways of looking at it. But these three really holds, concretely, because this is like a foundation. We run programs. We run programs to underprivileged, for B40. We have a lot of programs. If you check out our website or our LinkedIn, there's a lot of programs that we run. And we also collect funds. We need funds. We need volunteers. So it's all about giving back to the society.
I also recently just found out about psychological first aid. Yeah, it's something that I've never heard about before. And when I came across it, I find it to be very interesting. So what can you tell us about psychological first aid?
Psychological first aid, it's a way, it's like, a skill or knowledge where you can apply to yourself and to others, right? It's about understanding, it's about listening, it's about reflecting, it's about how can you assist yourself and others to get help, to know what support that you can get out there, to know what are the resources, where are the links, so that when we assist people, they can help themselves also. So when we talk about psychological first aid, again, it's your mental, emotional, and physical, right? But it touches more on your mental, and it looks at your well-being, your wellness. So that is why when we talk about psychological first aid, it can apply to anyone.
But who are the specific group of people that can benefit from getting the psychological first aid or PFA? Is that what it's called, right? PFA?
PFA, yes.
Yeah.
Everyone, Afzan, everyone. Okay. For example, if I have the skill and knowledge of a PFA, okay. So if someone is in distress, or I see that someone going through isolation or show some symptoms of mental health challenges. I'm not talking about illness, yeah? I'm talking about mental health challenges.
Yes.
This person will be able to assist that individual. So people need to understand psychological first aid is not counseling.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And even you can have those skills. We conduct psychological first aid workshops, okay, where we teach them or we share knowledge. How does this work? And we use WHO concept framework. Yeah. So when we talk about psychological first aid, you, me, we can. It's all about how comfortable you are while you're using it. Are you ready to apply it? Because you need to understand sometimes when someone go through challenges, it might be similar to your own challenges. Are you able to block that? Are you, able to put it aside and make it nothing personal? If you're not ready, or you just want to help without safeguarding yourself, then it will bring more harm to you.
So it's more of a symbiotic process. Both parties gain something from it. Yeah. Like you said, the person giving the PFA has to be mentally prepared for it as well.
Yes. You see, when someone needs help, right? I mean, we can go and help everyone, but are you prepared? Are you taking care of yourself?
Yes.
So if you're not prepared, but you always a person who likes to give, it will impact you. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, down the road, you will feel it.
What are the basic principles of psychological first aid?
Okay, so if you look from WHO framework, we have the look, listen, and link, the 3L, and which is widely being used. So you look at someone, if they are being distressed or they need help, all right, listen to them, okay, and link is where you give them the link or the resources for them to get a professional help.
I am doing active advocacy work, and sometimes I do get people who think or feel that they have mental health issues, and they come to me for advice. And what I do is normally because I'm not a qualified person to diagnose them or to help them medically. So what I do is I direct them to the right professionals for it. So is that considered as me giving PFA?
Yes.
Cool.
Indirectly,
so I've been doing it without even knowing it.
It's about linking that individual, right? But again, you need to understand that it must not affect you. Please debrief later on to yourself the process and what do you feel? How do you manage that? So that it doesn't weigh you down later on.
How do you debrief yourself?
After a session, right, I will write it down. What are the issues or the problem, because I need to have my case notes and my case studies, my case notes, right? So I will write it down, and then I look at it and I look into my mental and emotional. Does it affect me? And then did I give the right information? And you need to know your boundaries. You need to know that this is what to what extent can I give out information? And if you feel uncomfortable, you can stop and refer them to someone else. There's a lot to it when you talk about PFA, yeah? Because remember I said about the look, listen, link?
Yes.
There are certain skills that you need to apply. There are certain knowledge that you need to understand, and you need to go through it, because people need to be prepared. What if it's an abuse case? If this person keep on coming to you because they are not ready to see someone else, to see an expert, to go into therapy, and they like to just talk to you, and how will that affect you? Okay, what about attempted suicide or self-harm? You got it? What about cyberbullying or any sorts of bullying? We don't know people's issue, but if it's it holds you very dearly and it will affect you. So that is why, I encourage everyone, if can, to go through PFA workshop to understand the framework.
I think there's a lot of gray areas when it comes to
Yes.
mental health.
Yeah.
And especially for someone like me, I get easily emotionally invested in things, especially when someone comes to me with a problem. It's not that I internalize it, but I easily become emotionally involved in that person's problem. It's hard to separate that person's issues with my own issues. So yeah, I think it's a good point that you raised, that we need to be able to not make it personal. Yeah.
And just to let you know, because when you make it personal and when you are too emotionally involved, right, you are not helping that individual. That means there's an issue within you that needs to be settled.
Yeah.
People need to understand it's totally different from empathy, because when you are really emotionally involved, then there's an intention, and then what you want is to rescue that person, which that is not a good approach. You can assist, you can guide, but the moment you want to rescue that individual, meaning it's no more a therapeutic journey for that individual, but it's more about you filling in those questions or those answers that you feel there's a void inside.
Instead of addressing the other person's issue, you end up creating one for yourself, and the first aid becomes more about you than about the other person. Yeah. Okay,
yeah. And just to add on, right? Sometimes people will be curious, what's next? What's next? That's where they ask, the kepo question, the busybody question, right? Just to fulfill their needs. And it has nothing to do with the other person. Secondly, if you, a friend close to you come to you and ask you, it's good to link them to someone else, because the relationship might turn bad or go wrong if you try to really go out and say, yes, that person is wrong, I support you. Padahal you don't know both story. So it's good to always be neutral and try to link that close friend of yours or close relative, family members to someone else.
But how do you draw the line between empathizing and making it personal?
Empathizing that with that individual, yes, you will have some sort of emotion attached to that. Okay, so empathizing, there's three. One, emotion, another one cognitive, and another one is compassion. Okay, that means you understand from where this individual comes from. Okay, you understand the situation, and before they tell you, you already have some sort of perspective from where it's coming from. And once it's over, you still have empathy, but it will not affect you. Emotionally attached, that means when it's done, you will feel the emotion inside of you, and it carry on and on and on for more than 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. Then it's an alarm.
Can anyone outside the medical profession be trained to provide psychological first aid?
Yes. So that is why we are reaching out to people to have this workshop with us, where we will we create that support group, we provide those knowledge, the framework, the skills, so that they are able to apply. The support is important because you know why? Once an individual, for example, like you, Afzan, once you have those skills, okay, you attend the workshop, you know how it's done and all that. When you go out, you are on your own. That is why we provide the support, because you can come to us and we can have our own session for your case study. How do you feel? How do you address this? Why does these issues or this case affect you in whichever manner it is affecting you?
Based on your experience, is the need for psychological first aid even more pronounced now more than ever before, especially here in Malaysia?
Yes. People tend to forget about their emotion and their mental state of mind. Okay, why these two? Okay, like emotion you can feel, right? You can feel, okay, I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel angry, I feel so many different emotions. But when it comes to what's running in our mind, we cannot see, we cannot feel. So when it's playing in your mind over and over and over again, right? And if you are not mindful, that's where you have issues. You see, there's a lot of, I'll give you a scenario, An individual tested positive, okay? An elderly tested positive. Okay, so the individual and the family members went and do the swab test and all that stuff. Yes, only this person, A, positive, the rest of the family member negative. But because it did not display any symptom like severe, because this is like above 80, So when they call the hospital, they say, hold on, because they need to address people who is, in ICU or more severe case. Because this is just cough and flu and fever, just that. And then when they call to private hospitals, okay, so they need to put in deposit of amount, and they don't have that amount. But at the same time, they worried, will this prolong? Will the symptoms get worse and all that stuff? So can you imagine that kind of emotion and what will be in their mind? Repeated over and over again. Because in our mind, every day we have 60,000 thoughts. And that 60,000 thoughts, yes. If you don't know, right? We thought, okay lah, what I'm going to wear today, what I'm going to eat today. That is
and I thought all that I think about is what to eat next for lunch, what to eat for dinner.
Kan?
60,000, wow.
Okay. But subconsciously, it's been playing behind. Okay, so from that 60,000 thoughts, 80 to 85 are repeated negative thoughts. So can you see how much is that? Maybe like 40,000. What will happen to person A? Elderly with symptoms. And I have the partner who is also elderly in the family. What will happen? And they get the stigma from outsiders. No, I don't want to connect with you. Maybe we can meet later on, without giving the proper support. So that is why it's really needed now, and everyone, should look into, this knowledge and skills.
There's nothing wrong with feeling things. It's just that you have to learn not to react immediately, emotionally.
Yes, you acknowledge those emotions. You acknowledge the feeling. Yes, I'm feeling angry right now. But I'm going to put myself away from this scenario. Okay? Move away from that, whatever that is disturbing you, your feeling at that moment. And then shift your attention or focus. Do something else. Do something that excites you.
Psychological first aid is not just for people with who have been diagnosed with mental illness, right?
Sometimes we receive call that they need financial aid. So we link them to resources who provide financial aid.
Okay.
Because yes, financial wellness leads to your mental well-being also.
Yes.
Right? Relationship with others, it affects your mental health. Right? Socializing.
Yes.
Your culture, the people surround you, your family members, your workplace, siblings. Right? So all this affects you psychologically. That is why when we receive call, people say, they don't have food or they don't know how to survive, we link them to authorities or agency who provide that. And I also receive call that during Raya, there's few groups who purchase rice, noodles, milk, sugar. They need, and people who start calling, we know where to link them with. Go to this group of individual, get whatever that you need, your necessity, go and get it. People call me, then if they are Muslims, I direct them to all these jabatan. And if there's, so I'm not only, counseling or resources with my own people, I need to learn about what the Christians are doing, what the Hindus are doing, what the Muslims are doing, what the Buddhists are doing, all other resources. Because when people call, they don't see the color of your skin. They don't see what religion you are, because we are not talking about religion. We are talking about resources.
Yes.
You got me? So I need to know at least some basic knowledge on where does all these other group of people provide help, so we can link them.
So you've basically become like an information counter at the mall.
Something like that. Yalah, kan?
Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't have all that, because with technology you can Google.
During the pandemic, statistics have shown that suicide attempts have been on the rise, and also suicide cases. So what about these cases? Because I think when it comes to suicide, it no longer becomes a first aid. It's become more like an intervention already. So does that count as psychological first aid?
Okay. So if you look at it, psychological first aid is like your triage in the hospital. When people come in, they take the blood, they take their temperature.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So when you receive a call, you already assess that individual. How? From the tone. Because right now it's mostly call, right?
Yes.
So you assess from the tone. Then you can know whether they are distressed. Okay? And from the words that they say, is there any, does it fit the puzzle? Because, what are the consistent themes that this person is saying repeatedly? Because sometimes, when people in problem, they don't see the theme.
Yeah.
They will just talk. So that is why attentive listening is very important.
So that we can identify the pattern, right?
Yes. And then who should you link to. That is why attending a workshop on PFA, knowing how to do it correctly, applying those knowledge and practicing it is very important.
Okay, you mentioned just now that White House is having a conference on
yes,
and 21st May. Would you mind elaborating on what conference it is?
Okay, so this is in collaboration with Ministry of Health Malaysia. Okay, it's about mental and emotional endurance in the borderless world. That's our team. We have 2 speakers from KKM, then we have our experts, and also we have panelist group to address issues. So it can be from cyber, it can be from organization, transition from a student to young adult to, an adult.
Yeah.
and what are the issues? And we also have our, how does breathing and sleep affects your mental well-being? So, and we have breakout rooms, talk about emotions. Yeah. So that is why we encourage everyone to join. It's a virtual event. Okay. Next Friday, 21st, 9 to 4. And Saturday, 22nd, 9 to 3. Yeah, it's only 88 ringgit. If you can't make it, pay it forward, because the funds that we are getting, that's where we organize workshops for those who need.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, for agreeing to do this interview with me, and I've learned so much from you in the past, it's less than 30 minutes, but I've learned so much from you about psychological first aid. Before you go, is there anything you would like to say to our audience, particularly to people who are experiencing mental health issues, and also to the caregivers?
Yes. Please reach out. Okay, it doesn't make you a lesser person. Reach out. Even me, myself, I go through my challenges, and I have my group or my support for me to reach out. And you have groups of people with you. There are groups who you can share about your family. There will be groups who you can share about your work, about your social life, and about other things. Select those individuals, and be as truthful as you can. Because one more thing, like when you go to doctor asks you, right, how long you have this fever or how long you have flu. How many of us really tell the truth that, it's been there for 3 days, 4 days? No, right?
I do that all the time, like fever for like 3-4 days. But when the doctor asked, just started yesterday. Because
So the doctor knows.
I takut the doctor will marah. Why wait 3 days and then come to the clinic?
Itu biasalah kan. Saya pun kena marah. So that is why when you have these challenges, it's already there for a few days or maybe weeks, months, years. So be truthful by saying it out. Because the benefits only to you, not to the other person. Ask for help. You can connect to us because how we have counseling and tele-psychosocial support. There's a phone number that you can call, and then if you want to have counseling sessions, we have those, right? Just pay it forward. You can donate whatever amount you want. It's all in the website www.yhow.org. Remember, nothing personal. When you keep this mantra over and over again, nothing personal, you see your life transform.
Yes.
To a better person, huh?
Yeah. And I believe it all starts with being honest to yourself first, right?
To yourself. Okay, that's very important.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta.
And thank you so much.
I really hope that we can do this again and talk about another different topic.
Oh, definitely. I love to reach out to people to give out more.
Okay, so everyone, thank you for watching. And if you feel the need to reach out, do so. Okay, so I'll see you all in my next episode. Bye.
Bye.